The Western Cape Education Department says an investigation is underway after the K word was allegedly used at an inter-schools rugby match in Cape Town over the weekend. The game between Fairmont and Settlers High Schools in Cape Town was ended by the referee when he allegedly heard the use of the K word. He can be heard saying in the video that this was unacceptable and called for an end of the game. Dr. Joan from Niekerk, child rights and child protection consultant, joins us now via video link to weigh on this latest incident. Doc, a very good afternoon to you. So what we know is just what we were able to see in the video. I mean, the referee felt compelled to stop this inter-schools rugby match over the use of the K word. What we then see is how things quickly escalated to violence. When you have incidents like that at a school environment, what does this tell us about just the state of race relations and how we're able to deal with some of these issues?
Well, I feel immensely sad when I hear stories like this. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I also believe that parents have to take some responsibility, parents and caregivers, for children who use racist slurs under any situation, even in situations like a rugby match when feelings are running high and so on. It's unacceptable. But I also think, along with parents, the education department really does need to focus on helping children move within an integrated world. The inequality, I think, that children believe exists between racial groups under certain circumstances needs to be addressed directly by schools and parents. I think it's truly important that children know what equality really does mean in our multiracial or multicultural or whatever multilingual environment. No matter where it is, it's inexcusable. I would like parents who make racial slurs in the privacy of their own homes to understand how children imbibe these messages. They hear, they think that the children will kind of be able to manage those belief systems within the school environment, the multiracial school environment. But if children keep hearing these slurs in the home environment, most certainly they're going to transfer them into the school environment. Yeah. It's just totally unacceptable.
And I want to go back to that point that you make about schools and as far as the basic Department of Education too. I mean, are you saying that they are not doing enough, you know, to teach anti-racism, even inclusion at schools? And then some of them have these policies that are oftentimes quite ambiguous. And need to be refined in terms of practical terms, in terms of what they mean? Or do you think that schools and Department of Education are quite reactive in their approach?
I think they are reactive in their approach. It's when something happens that they begin to intervene. And that is too late. I think more opportunities should be given to children to talk about how they see each other, how they understand each other, how they understand differences in culture and language, so that they can be encouraged to be accepting and open to different color skins, different languages, and so on. I think that discussion groups, and this is where I think I'm really concerned. I do hear that life skills education will be phased out and compulsory history phased in. I don't believe this is going to help the issues around racism and so on. We need small discussion groups in the classroom in which educators are able to facilitate an understanding of culture and difference, so that children in the school environment do begin to see each other as human rights bearers, as human, rather than as different, and some cultures being less worthy than others.
And I mean, There's so much to unpack here. Schools often describe these incidents as isolated. From your experience, Doc, I mean, do such recurring allegations of racism in our schools point to deeper institutional and societal challenges? I mean, many will tell you they do. A few years ago, I remember also in the Western Cape, I think it was in 2024, the Western Cape Education Department described that Pinelands High School incident that we saw as isolated. You know, describing the school, you know, that it upholds values and ethos that are higher than what was displayed. I mean, this was at that incident where there was a participation in an apparent prank in which Black pupils were auctioned to bidders. I don't know if you remember that. And they were actually in cages.
I do remember it.
Yeah.
I do remember it. I remember it well. And I found it a most distressing incident.
Yeah, because they're not isolated.
It devalued the children involved. And here we are now living in, I can't even say it's a non-racial society. It hasn't actually achieved that at the moment, or a multiracial society, because I believe we should all own our own culture, but that doesn't mean that we demean the culture and history of others who are perhaps a little different to ourselves. And I think this is what we need more of in the education departments. And it's not just the Western Cape. We receive information about incidents in other provinces as well, where people believe that their culture, their history, their color is superior or even inferior. And we've got to address these issues with children. Otherwise, we're going to have repeated incidents similar to the one that occurred in this particular rugby match. And I do believe that the children involved in this, I don't believe punishment changes attitudes. I think that there has to be exposure and a demonstrated valuing of who we are, no matter what color, race, or creed.
Dr. Niekerk, I have to wrap up, but just to your last point, we have very, very strong laws in terms of constitutional framework, legal laws. Can we not do those things, you know, where we are, you know, teaching, but also we have to hold at least adults, you know, to account here by using some of those legal frameworks that we do have?
Yes, definitely. I do believe, though, that along with punishment should go some effort at facilitating change. I think for some people, and I refer to white people here, change has been frightening. In terms of, are my rights being taken away? And I think we need to demonstrate in a very practical way the shift towards a belief in equality. Yes, by all means, when adults should know better, but when it comes to children, we need to expose them in a different way to the whole equality agenda that all of us should have.
Yeah, a shift in equality definitely necessary, but also an understanding and appreciation that racism is also very violent. But Doc, thank you so much for your time. That's all the time we have for this afternoon. I really appreciate your time, Dr. Joan van Niekerk, a child rights and child protection consultant.